So we started searching from the beginning of April. So those two factors made our search a bit limited to that area. If you guys don't go out, we'll have to forcefully, kick you guys out. Going from one hotel to another, one end of Newcastle to another end of Newcastle. Landlord did not pick us. The landlord of the one that wanted to manage did not pick us because it's a long story, so I'm just going to go straight into it. And yes, because in my previous video I told you guys I was going to explain one of the reasons why I was away for a very long time. It's not clickbait, it's not just to get you guys attention. What was written is actually what happened. Like, we lost everything what we had. We lost even clothes. We lost. Looking back now, I mean, I can smile now because it's in the past, So what happened was that, for those who may know that, okay, we came into the UK as a family of 4. Like I mentioned in the last video, so we grew to the glory of God. The family expanded from a family of 4 now to a family of 5. Goodness. Now, we needed a bigger apartment because where we were staying was a 2-bed apartment. So we needed a bigger space. Obviously, I have a son and a daughter, and now another daughter. So even when we were staying in the 2-bed apartment, it was wrong, because my son and daughter were not supposed to still be sleeping in the same room. So obviously now the family is expanding. We need a bigger space. Now, the search for a 3-bed started. So the search for a 3-bed apartment started in April, actually, yes, because our contract with the current landlord was going to end at the end of April. So we started searching from the beginning of April. It was an intensive search. So we started searching from the beginning of April. Nothing was forthcoming because we had a budget. Bear in mind, we had a budget. And as at that time, bear in mind also, I had a 2-month-old baby because my baby came in February. So my husband was the only one who was actively searching. I was also searching online, but I wasn't doing most of the viewings and stuff. He was the one going, to do the viewings and stuff. I was just, once I say please, just forward it to him and he'll be the one to go and view. Now, because I had a baby, obviously, my movement was limited. Now, fast forward to the end of April, nothing was forthcoming because, like I said, we were on a strict budget. And at the same time, we didn't want to leave the vicinity where we were because my son only has few months to the end of secondary school. So we didn't want to change schools for him at that time because, it doesn't make any sense. It was already in the final year and we just didn't want to change schools for him. So we wanted to retain that same school. And yeah, so I also work in that area. So those two factors made our search a bit limited to that area. So nothing was forthcoming. We spoke to our current landlord to please extend our contract by 1 month, which they did. We had till the end of May to be in that current house. We started receiving some positive responses. We got one house, we did the paperwork, we already did everything, we completed everything. The only thing we hadn't done was to pay for the house. Because what they do, some landlords ask for reference from your employer, they ask for the current landlord's reference, and then they ask for guarantors and all of those things, and you have to do the paperwork and this. So a lot of back and forth makes it take time a little bit. So we were on it for close to 3 weeks. We were happy, everything was going fine. Fast forward to almost the end of May. Bear in mind now we have just 1 more week to our extended contract ends. We're now done with the paperwork, but that stage of account details and just for us to pay, they were not now responding. What's going on? We are calling the person that was at the forefront of everything. What's up? That was when she told us that, unfortunately the landlord didn't pick us. Yadi. Or more. At that point, we didn't know what else to do. It was disappointing, quite alright, because they didn't even tell us themselves. We had to find out, after calling and calling. So that was really sad. We lost that house, and at that point we had put all our eggs in one basket. We didn't have any alternative, because obviously you can't pay. You have to pay holding deposits, and for some it's refundable, and for some it's not refundable. So we didn't have any reason to pay holding deposits in two places, because we didn't think that we will need to fall back on a plan B, if that makes sense. So we had put all our eggs in that particular basket. So at the end of everything, it was quite disappointing. We had to start from the scratch. This time around, we had to now plead for more time from our landlord. So they told us, we're no more renewing anything at the end of June. If you guys don't go out, we'll have to forcefully, kick you guys out. We're like, no, now you won't even need to do that. By then, we would have sorted ourselves out. Fast forward to middle of June. Thankfully, we had gotten this particular apartment. It was okay. I mean, at that point, we didn't even have much of a choice. We now increased our budget a little bit, because we realized that the budget was also limiting us. So we increased it, I think, by £100. So that made it a little bit easier for us to now find more houses and more options. That gave us a lot of options that we now had to pick from. We found this place, even though it wasn't in that same area we were looking to find, but it was still like within the same vicinity, if that makes sense. If the children have to go to school, they're only going to go by train, which is like a stop, which obviously not too bad. So the paperwork started. We contacted our guarantors again. Please, you guys should not be angry. This is what happened. My husband's employer, we had to start explaining to them, guys, we're sorry, but you have to do this again. Please, this is what happened. Luckily for us, God surrounded us with people who wouldn't mind. They did all of that again. Paperwork this time took another 3 weeks. Everything was going smoothly. The landlord this time didn't have any issues with us. He had taken us. Everything was going fine. So at the end of June, so we were done with paperwork, but because we still had, I think, a week with our current landlord, we didn't want that 1 week money to waste. So we had to stay there till the end of June. So the new contract now stated 1st of July. That's for the new house. So everything was going fine. We had paid holding deposit, we had paid the actual rent, and we had paid the deposit fee. So the deposit fee is another so you are going to pay ×2 of the rent, which means the rent itself and then deposit fee, which is like what we call caution fee in Nigeria. So just in case when you're about to leave, if there's any damage, or if there are dents to the walls of the damages in the house, the money will be used to fix things that were damaged. Yeah, so we had paid everything was running to almost £18. We paid everything in full, so we're just waiting this time to just come and get the keys. And so we had time to just chill. So we used that week to pack our things. We were packing and packing. Everything was going fine. So now fast forward to beginning of July, which was when we were come and collect the keys. So we were supposed to get the keys on a Friday. For some reason, my husband was not able to get the keys on that very day because he had other commitments somehow. So we now had to bear in mind that same Friday was when our final contracts with the current landlord had ended. And this time we didn't have any grace anymore, not even one day. Even me, I knew that at that point they have tried. At that point they have really, really tried. So now, even we were not even supposed to stay the weekend. We were supposed to leave on Friday. But because it was a weekend, the letting agents for the new house did not open. They only work Mondays to Fridays. So we stayed the weekend, which was even like 2 days extra, So those people have tried. In fact, they told us on that Friday that by Monday, they don't want to meet us in the house because they had let out the house truly, and they were coming, and the new person was coming 2 weeks from that time, and they needed to also like put things in place, renovate, repaint, whatever, before the new person comes in fairness to them. So we knew that we didn't also have any choice than to leave. Now, fast forward to Monday, like I said, husband now, okay, he couldn't go on Friday, so we had to go on Monday. And so on that Monday, the van person had come around. Like I said, that was the last day we had to leave. So the van guy had come around. So my husband said I should follow the van, and while he goes to collect the keys from the letting agent's office. Bear in mind, baby is now 4 months old. I was carrying her on my back because obviously I was busy. The other kids had gone to school, and they were supposed to come and join us in the new house. So I, with the baby and everything, we're packing. So he said, follow the van while I go get the keys, and then we'll meet there. So I was like, no problem, as long as you're getting the keys, no wala. So I packed our stuff, followed the van, loaded the van, followed the van, got to the new apartment. The van guy was like, okay, so now I got there, my husband wasn't there. He wasn't picking his phone. I started to panic. Guys, at this point I was panicking. Hey, what is happening? Van guy was already parrying. For those who don't know what para is, he was getting agitated. He was like, see, I have other jobs to do. You guys, where's your husband? Call him. I'm going to leave your things outside. I'm like, no, please, you can't just drop our things. Because even in front of the house, it was really bushy in front of the house. It was very, very bushy outside. I was like, no, now you can't just drop our things here in the bush. Please, just give him 1 more hour. The guy was like, no. And at that time, the guy, in fairness to him, he had waited for more than 30 minutes. And time is money here. So the guy didn't have a choice. He dropped the things outside and left. So it was just me, the baby, and the luggages now. So I was calling. At that point, his number wasn't even going through anymore. His phone had died. Hey, Chimo. I didn't know what to do. Now it's been 2 hours with the baby on my back. So finally, fast forward to 3 hours later, I saw him from afar. I was relieved. I was like, hey, finally. Here he comes. I was happy that thank God, at least we get to enter. So he came. I was like, we are now. We open the door. Let's start packing. I'm tired. I need to go inside and rest. I was like, no, they didn't give him key. I was like, hey, what happened? What's up? Why? Like I had like 1,001 questions to ask. I was like, they said EICR tests of the house. The results came back unsatisfactory. In my mind first I was like, what's even EICR to start with? Like I had like 1,001 questions to ask him. What is EICR? He said it's everything that has to do with the electricity, the sockets, the wiring, the heating, the this, the that, the yadi. I'm like, why are they just telling us now? Why didn't they do all these testings? Why didn't they do all these findings before even advertising the house at all in the first place? Why should such a house even be on the market as to let? I had like a million questions. Okay, what do they want us to do now? What do you suggest that we do now? Where are we going to sleep this night? Where are the children who are coming back from school going to meet us? Like, okay, so now they let you go. What is the alternative plan for us? Our things are literally in the bush. We cannot go back to where we're coming from, and we cannot enter. When Yoruba say iwaju ose lo and you padà sí. Hell, I was confused. In fact, I can't even describe the emotion that was running through my head at that time, because it's worse than confusion. I was agitated, I was angry, I was confused, I was tired, I was so I was like, okay, let's go to the office. At least if I show up with the baby, if maybe they will have some sort of arrangement for us. Didn't you tell them that you are a family man, you have children, you have a nursing wife, a nursing mother? Like, okay, what, like, I went to the office. I asked a lot of questions. Okay, so what is the plan for us? Because obviously this is you guys' fault. We don't have to be the ones to pay for your negligence. Clearly this is your negligence. Why are we the ones paying for it? Why are our things disposed? Why are we almost displaced now because of your mistake? And they were like, oh, sorry, and it's the landlord's fault. That EICR thing is something that they renew every 5 years, and because the tenant that was there before lived there for over 10 years, they didn't have any reason to keep renewing it, and that's why yada. So they were pushing the blame to the landlord, and the landlord was also like, not available. He wasn't even responding. He wasn't picking his calls. So I'm like, okay, when are you guys going to fix this? And what's the plan for us tonight? Now, bear in mind, this was running hours into hours. The children in school were going to come back soon, and we were still at their office going back and forth, trying to get explanation. And they were like, it's not their fault. They don't know. They were just so nonchalant about it. And it was almost 4 p.m. My son was already calling me. Where are you guys? Should I come here? Where am I? So I was like, so at that point, even though I was agitated, I was angry, we just had to look for somewhere to sleep for that night. So they were like, we should come back on Tuesday, which was the following day, and that by then it would be sorted out. We're like, no, Allah, she is just tomorrow now. So we looked for like a big what do they call it, a big bag, covered all our stuff that were outside just to protect it from the rain and sun and thefts. So we booked the night in a hotel. We checked in. It was a hotel that has 4 beds. We all managed ourselves for that night. The following morning, which was Tuesday, we resumed back in their office. We have come. How far? At that point, they were now tossing us around. When landlord is tossing us to this, we were like, the landlord has contacted the electrician. The electrician is just going to go there now and check. They will get back to us. This. But you guys said it was going to be sorted today. We paid for the hotel from our pockets, which was even wrong to start with. We shouldn't be the ones paying for this. Okay, so what plans do you have for us tonight? Guys, we were on this back and forth with these people for another 1 week. Bear in mind, our children were going to school from hotel. Every time we call them, is either they don't even answer us, or they just give us they were even very dismissive at some point, because they were like, they were very cold. There was no sort of empathy. There was no explanation. It was even now like we were now the ones bothering them. A nursing mother, children were involved. We were even threatening them. Hope this is a safeguarding issue. We were now threatening them with lawsuits. So when they were now hearing lawsuits, that was when they now started to take us a bit more serious. Bear in mind, we were the ones paying for hotel. Children were going to school from and to hotel. My husband was also going to work back and forth hotel. My mind was not settled. Our things were outside. But as God will have it, we went back to we didn't even think there were storage units at that time, because we didn't even think we needed a storage unit, because every time these people kept assuring us that it was in 2 days time it will be sorted, the following day it will be sorted. So we didn't know that it was going to last for long, so we didn't think we needed a storage unit. Those storage units where you pay and then store your luggages. We didn't know that. We didn't think we needed it. So we went back to the site where our things were, but thankfully from the beginning itself, our documents were with me, because I always like in my laptop bag and stuff. So we now went there, because the neighbor beside us is a Nigerian, fortunately for us, and unfortunately too, they didn't have enough space in their house to help us put some things, like the most valuables. So fortunately for us, we had like a neighbor in front of us who at least we can relate with. So we took our washing machine, 2 television and a deep freezer to his house to help us secure. He was happy to help us. We took them to his house. It was my son and my husband that took them to his house. It was just an opposite guy, the guy just in front of us, and there are no houses like to the left or to the right, just one house in front of us, so it was quite direct. So we took, at least if we know that okay, we are losing every other thing, but at least let's still be able to save some. So it was now another fresh week. Council was calling us, you guys, your things are littering the streets, this and that. The Nigerian neighbor was also calling us, guys, where are you guys? They are stealing your things. Because to be honest, I didn't blame people who were like taking them. Those things were just lying there out there. Anybody who would think they are scrap and they could just come and grab something. So that was the least of our worry at that time. We just needed a roof over our heads. So we're like, don't worry, we're coming soon. Because every time those people assured us that the following day, for some reason we believed them. Come on Tuesday, turned 6 weeks. like joke. We were homeless for 6 weeks. The following day, which was now like week 2, and we're like, how far now? What's going on? So they now said, okay, at that point, the landlord was not really responding that they have another property to offer us, if we don't mind. It's also a 3-bed apartment. In fact, this one is even in a better location, which is where we were before, the area where we didn't want to live. So we were happy, like, okay, no problem. Even though the house is not like the best, because the house didn't even have cooker, it didn't have heat extractor, it didn't have the proper dimension. You have to pass through the kitchen to the bathroom. Those kind of houses, it didn't have like right configuration, but we didn't mind because at that point we were desperate. My husband went to view the house with them. I mean, we didn't even need to view it because we did at that point. We were just desperate. It was a 3-bed at that point. We did, but they were like, yes, we should just come and see for ourselves. So he went. That was when I was on a video call with me. That was when I saw the house and the condition. I was like, oh, we don't mind if it's cooker, if it's this, because we had tasted what homelessness meant. So at that point, we didn't even mind. We're not even looking for 3-bed anymore. Anything at this point. We're like, okay, now we're ready. Let's move. Then they said, no, this is a different landlord. You have to do the whole paperwork again. We're like, boys, you guys now. You are the same letting agent. You are the one that gave us the old house. Why are you making us go through all this stress again? Why can't you just transfer the paperwork we did to the new one? Why do we have to go and disturb our guarantors and employers and all these people again? Please now, be going no job. They were like, no, it's a different landlord. They can't transfer documents. They can't transfer paperwork. We're like, okay. We ran back to our people again. We now did. That also took like another 1 week. Week 3. We were now on it. Landlord was not getting back to us. The new landlord now was not getting back to us. A week passed. We kept calling them. What's up now? What's the landlord saying? They're like, we should chill. The landlord has not said anything. He will pick us. We should not worry. At that point, week 3 now, the end of week 3, we didn't hear anything from them. And the thing is, these people now shifted to Friday. There was a way they kept, pushing us to Fridays. And once it's Thursday and it's approaching Friday, our heart will start to beat fast because we know that Friday, number 1, is a short day. And once we're not able to get anything done by the end of Friday, till Monday again. So we will now not have a choice than to sleep in hotel for another weekend. Bear in mind, because they were now like giving us false hopes to come on the 3rd day, we will now renew hotel for another 2 days. By the time we go back and they will be disappointed with those letting agents again, we will now want to renew and buy more time in the hotel. Hotel will tell us that they've been sold out. So we will now need to book another hotel. So we were going from one hotel to another, one end of Newcastle to another end of Newcastle. We're going like back and forth. We're going from like extremes. The children suffered. When I say suffer, we're going from NE15 to NE28, from NE28 to NE. They were going back and forth. We were packing our things, the little things we were with, all the toiletries that we were with, and clothes for changing and everything. It was still a lot of luggage, even though it was like 1% of our entire luggage, but it was still a lot. So we're going like back and forth. Week 4, we entered week 4 in hotel still. Landlord had not said anything, so a few friends advised us to just start searching for a fresh house from the beginning again. We now said, okay, at this point, see, these ones, we'll come back to their matter later. We'll tackle it legally later, but for now we don't have you people's time. Let's just look for a place to even call a home. Later on, a friend, we now ran out of money for hotels and Airbnbs. A friend of mine now accommodated us. In fact, God bless them, those ones now housed us for a week. Like we were eating proper. Bear in mind, we're not eating properly before, because obviously hotel now we're eating junks, bread, biscuits, all those things. A nursing mother, I suffered. So for 1 week we didn't have to pay. At least that saved us, After the end of that 1 week again, so now we started searching from beginning. So we just paid holding fee for a new search. But this time we made sure to read the emails well, to be sure it's a house that has a refundable holding fee, holding deposits. Those holding deposits where you hold you pay for them to take the advert off the market. So we made sure it was refunded because we didn't want to also lose that money this time. So we paid that one. We started the paperwork again with them. After a week, we got a call from the letting agencies, the letting agents that put us in all this mess, that okay, the landlord did not pick us. The landlord of the one we went to view that wanted to manage did not pick us because one of us did not have a good credit score. Guys, I almost gave up the ghosts. Like at that point, I was tired. My friend that housed us was even scared for me because she knew where I was mentally. I was physically tired, I was mentally tired, I was exhausted, I was disappointed, I was angry, I was all of these emotions. That was one of the lowest points of my life. Bear in mind, our luggage was still outside. Rain had beaten them, sun. The council was calling, threatening. Even the letting agents that put us in all this trouble too were calling us. So bear in mind, they were the ones that put us in this mess. They were like, until we have gotten the key, we should go and take our things because it's littering the environment. Anyway, we ignored them. Whatever you want to do, in fact, help us. In fact, it will be of help to even help us remove the stuff from there because at that point we didn't even know what to do anymore. This was now 5 weeks down the line. I was tired. So we fast forward to week 6. We now got a call. I think it was on a Tuesday from the letting agents that we were dragging this issue with. That so the EICR house, that's where our things were, was now available, was ready. The landlord was done, the electrician had done his thing, everybody had done, now taking out their responsibilities, and the house is now ready and safe to live. That if we are still interested, we should come back and get the house. We were relieved. You saw the way I took a big sigh. That's the way I took a deep sigh that day. I was happy. Even though it was mixed feelings, but at the end of the day, we were happy. No lives was lost in the process. Children were going back and forth to school. Nothing happened to them. The baby didn't fall ill. She didn't have any sort of infection from, change of locations. I was happy. So we're like, okay, later we'll tackle this, but for now, no problem. We're interested. Let's just have a place, So we went to their office, got the keys, signed all the documents. So now the what's it called? The tenancy agreements had to change because obviously it's been more than a month since we last signed the tenancy agreement. Now they were now going back and forth again with the tenancy agreement with our guarantors that no, it's so day. That took another 2 days. By that point, we were happy, we didn't mind. We knew we were already at the last phase. We did everything. We now went to the area. Our things, 60% of our things were gone. When I say gone, like stolen. But we didn't mind because we were alive. No be person where they alive would they think of clothes or shoes or all of these gadgets. So we didn't mind. The ones that were there, that were still on the floor there, were mostly damaged. The mattresses were damaged. We had 3 mattresses, they were all gone. The beds, most were stolen. The ones that were not stolen was damaged. The dining set was gone. Our electronics were gone. Like the air fryers, microwave. Those ones that we could not save were gone. But we still thank God. I even first entered the house first. We prayed, we entered, we cleaned the house. We're like, we'll be sorting out our things later. Let's even have a roof over our heads. So we moved in. Fast forward to the second day. Now we had to take our things that were outside. They were damaged to the tip. The tip is where we pour like damaged things, like the bin, the central bin, like for the for the town where you dump things. That's where they sort out things like the recyclables and stuff, basically damaged stuff that they take from the bin, they take them there. So we had to now, God bless our friends, a lot of them came through for us with their cars, and in batches we took our things there with our hands to go and pour away. We took boxes of clothes there because they were damaged. Rain had beaten them, sun had beaten them, so we had to take 6 boxes to the bin, to the tip. We threw everything away, our mattresses, our everything that were damaged and soil, we took them there. But we were happy, at least we had hope of still, we were able to secure 2 TVs, 1 deep freezer and 1 washing machine. That was our consolation. At least we imagine if we had to buy television and deep freezer and washing machine. I mean, that has at least saved us some cost. So my husband went to the guy that had our stuff with him, that my friend, thank you, we're here now. He was like, thank God. So give us our stuff now, the deep freezer, washing machine and 2 television. So he was like, no, that it's not him. My husband thought he was dreaming. I mean, he thought maybe everything had affected his memory. Obviously we've been through a lot, so he felt maybe the stress had affected his memory, because he took it there with my son now. So he went to call my son, that is it not this guy? Is it not this very house? My son was like, yes, now of course I remember, that's the house. I know the color of his rug, I know the color of his curtain. If he should just let us in, I can tell him the color of his curtains and stuff. So they went to meet him again. I was here with this, when you lose things, maybe if you have a stolen car, maybe you park your car somewhere and you come back there and it's gone. The way you've been looking inside gutter, looking at your pocket for the car. That was how they felt. They felt they were dreaming. They went back to him. Look, this is my son. It was me and him. We entered through this place. We went this way. The freezer was giving us. We had to bend it. Can't you remember? The guy denied. He was like, no, it's not him. Oh, hey, that was how we lost those ones too. So we didn't know the kind of area we had found house. Well, that scared us a bit more. It was now later on we're now hearing that this same guy went to save things that we thought we were keeping things safe with, is himself, his wife and children. There is no day they don't come there, like where we kept our stuff, to pick a thing or 2. We thank God of restoration, So we moved into the house. We decided to set up the bedrooms and the kitchen, at least for a start. At least we would sleep and eat now. So that was where we focused on. A lot of friends came through for us. They donated a lot of things. So God was able to use people for us, basically, to restore us back to our feet. When I say to our feet, I mean to our feet. We even had more than enough. To be honest, we even had options. We now had to pick from the best microwaves. We had choices that we now had to select from, if that makes sense. So God came through for us. He restored us back within few days of moving. We had a bed, we had mattresses, we had places to lay our heads on. So that's basically my story. That was how we lost everything that we've ever worked for in this country. We lost them, but to the glory of God, I am here today to tell you guys the story. And in the midst of all of this, God still told me that His grace is sufficient for me. So that was what kept me going, and that's what's still keeping me going. It's been a lot. It's been a rough year. I won't even lie. It's been a very rough year, because this year, I had not even healed from postpartum issues and depression before the housing issue now happened, But to God be the glory. In the midst of it all, God still proved to us that He's still with us. I mean, He was able to raise people for us. He was able to restore us back to our position, even better, if I can say so myself. So God has been good. In the midst of losing properties, we did not lose lives. we did not lose ourselves, we did not lose our sanity, we did not lose our family, we did not lose our minds, even our health. Everybody was fine all through the process. Nobody had emergencies. We didn't have to rush the baby to the hospital, or anything like that. Financially too, God always came through, somehow. In the midst of, we still had money to pay for, somewhere to sleep in the midst of all of that. So yes, just help me thank God in the comment section. Imagine in that 6 weeks now, thinking of how to set ring light, how to come here and say hello guys, welcome back to my channel. That was the least of my worries. That was not even crossing my mind. I just wanted to sleep and wake up as me. So yeah, that's one major reason why I've been away this year. And I hope this story has been able to I don't know what you're going through, but I just want you to know that no matter what it is, God is God, and God will always come through for his own, one way or the other. I just hope that this story encourages someone out there, just for you to know that no matter how disappointed we might be sometimes as human beings, because to be honest, while you're going through all of that, it's just as if God is quiet. But I just want you to know that in all of this, there's just always one lesson or the other. It's after now looking back, I now understand why it happened the way it happened. Even though part of it was our mistake, it also shows that it's also the lesson I also got from it is that if you've not gotten key, if you're moving apartment, if you're changing apartments, or if you're moving from one, if you've not gotten the keys to the new apartment, please don't move your things. The lesson is that don't move an inch if you are not sure of moving into the next apartment. And also do your research well about properties. This EICR thing, I didn't know what it means until we had this issue. So do your research on things that has to do with a property. If we had researched about that property, we would have known much about it. And yes, in case you're wondering, we're still going to go legal with that particular letting agent that put us through all of that. They have to compensate us financially, because they put us through a lot. They made us go through a lot of risks, and especially with babies and children involved, it's a safeguarding issue, and they also have to pay for it one way or the other. They made us go through a lot, to be honest. Mentally, psychologically, it was a lot. Financially, it was a lot. We spent nothing less than 3,008 from paying for Airbnbs and hotels and feeding and all those things. So they have to pay. So yes, in case you're wondering, we're on it with them. We're definitely going to get compensated one way or the other, because they have to pay for these things that they cost us. Yes, so that's it. That's one of the reasons why I was away for a long time this year. And like I said, I hope you've been able to learn a thing or two from my story. Yeah, I'm doing great now. The family is great. The family is complete. We're fine and hearty. It's just one phase that obviously has passed. So that's one of the phases this year that I've had to pass. I'm happy to be back. Back for good. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please. So if you've subscribed already, you are lucky. Give yourself a round of applause, because you are the best place. And come 2026, there's loads of content for you guys. Click on the thumbs up button, please, and share among your friends. That's it. Till I see you again in the next video. Please take care, and God bless you. Bye bye.